In the brutal, unpredictable theater of boxing, offense often steals the spotlight. The highlight reels, the knockouts, the crowd eruptions. But beneath all that chaos lies the true craft of the sport, defense. The subtle head movement, the perfectly timed parry, the ability to make an opponent miss by a whisper. The best defensive boxers don't just survive fights. They control them, frustrate rivals, and redefine what mastery in the ring truly means. Today we look at 5 fighters whose defense became their weapon. Legends who turned evasion into an art form. At the top of that conversation stands Floyd Mayweather Jr., a man whose name is synonymous with defensive genius. Mayweather's shoulder roll technique, perfected through decades of training, allowed him to slip punches with surgical precision. His reflexes, timing, and understanding of distance were so sharp that he often appeared untouchable. Opponents came swinging for glory, only to be picked apart and humiliated by counters. Mayweather didn't rely on raw athleticism alone. It was his anticipation, his ability to read rhythm, that made him arguably the greatest defensive fighter ever. 50 men tried to solve his puzzle and none succeeded. Then there's Pernell, Sweet Pea Whitaker, the man who danced through danger with elegance. Whitaker's defense wasn't mechanical. It was fluid, alive, unpredictable. He ducked, weaved, and leaned with balletic grace, making even the fiercest punchers look foolish. His bouts often looked less like fights and more like performances, a symphony of movement, timing, and balance. Whitaker wasn't just avoiding damage. He was dictating pace, showing that defense could be just as thrilling as aggression. In an era filled with punchers, Whitaker reminded the world that intelligence and reflex could outshine brute force. Willie Pep, the featherweight maestro, brought a different flavor of defense, one built on finesse and rhythm. Pep once famously won a round without throwing a single punch, purely through movement and defense. His footwork was a blur, his head never stayed still, and his ability to make opponents miss by inches became legendary. In a sport built on impact, Pep taught a generation that the best hits are the ones that never land. His mastery wasn't just about dodging blows. It was about mental dominance, about making fighters question their timing, their confidence, and even their own skill. Few names command the kind of respect that Nicolino Locche does in Argentina. Known as the untouchable, Locche was the kind of fighter who could make an entire crowd gasp with a simple slip. He fought with his hands low, inviting punches, then swaying away with supernatural calm. Watching him was like watching someone perform a magic trick. The fist would come, and somehow he wasn't there. Locche wasn't a knockout artist. His victories came from sheer frustration, opponents swinging wildly, tiring themselves out, while he stood smiling, untouched. And finally, Winky Wright, the quiet technician of the modern era. While others relied on flash, Wright built his legacy on discipline and consistency. His high guard was a fortress, his composure unbreakable. Fighters often underestimated him until they realized they couldn't land clean. Wright's patience, ring IQ, and defensive fundamentals neutralized even the most explosive opponents. His fights weren't about spectacle. They were about control. He turned the ring into his domain, forcing opponents to fight on his terms. What connects all these men isn't just their skill, it's their philosophy. Defense to them wasn't passive. It was a form of dominance, a way to impose will without throwing a single punch. Each of them rewrote what it means to win a fight, proving that boxing isn't just about who hits harder, but who thinks faster, who moves smarter, and who understands the rhythm of danger. So tell us, when you think of the greatest defensive boxer of all time, who comes to mind first? Was it Mayweather's precision, Whitaker's movement, Pep's mastery, Locche's elegance, or Wright's wall of composure? Drop your pick in the comments below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because in boxing, the most powerful punch might just be the one that never lands.